Amy and I got engaged twice, and both times, her childhood friend Bob ruined it by joking around. The third time, he posted a picture wearing my engagement ring. He captioned it, "Thanks, Amy, for making my dream come true." In the pic, he and Amy made a heart shape with their hands, looking like a real couple. The comments were full of people saying they were a match made in heaven. I chimed in, "Hey, want to resize the ring and maybe file off my initials? I mean, if you don't resize it, the ring won't even fit past his second knuckle." When I refreshed, the post was gone. Amy called me, pissed. "Bob's like a brother to me. You getting jealous of him is just bizarre. Keep this up and we might need to rethink our wedding." She thought she still had me wrapped around her finger until I canceled the wedding, and that's when she started freaking out. When Amy got home, I was sorting out the invites. Good thing I hadn't sent any yet. She picked one up and smirked, "Your design." Haha. She always thought my wedding invites looked terrible. But when I posted them on social media and got lots of compliments, Bob also posted a design. He captioned it, "Amy loved it, so happy." Amy liked it and commented, "The most creative and beautiful design I've ever seen." I didn't lose my cool this time, just nodded. Noticing my calm reaction, she tilted her head to see my face better. "Wow, pretending to be calm. Huh?" I finished organizing the invites, putting them in a bag. She burst out laughing. "Stop pretending, you're probably about to cry. Right? Don't cry, here, got you a gift." She handed me a quickly wrapped box. A new C brand necklace? Definitely not a freebie this time. Happy? I glanced at the box with half a laugh, and she frowned. "What's funny?" I opened my phone and showed her a screenshot. Bob's latest post. Not a fan of the new C brand necklace design. So Amy just got me a way pricier F brand one instead. She looked awkward, biting her lip. I chuckled. Seems like everything you give me is just whatever Bob doesn't want. For my first birthday after dating Amy, she gave me a bracelet with artificial diamonds. It looked fine but felt off. Then I saw Bob post about a diamond watch saying it looked great, but he didn't like the free bracelet it came with, so he had Amy give it to someone else. That someone was me. We had a huge fight about it. She snapped, "You always said it's the thought that counts. Now you're mad because a freebie isn't as valuable as a necklace? Bob's like a brother, you're basically his brother-in-law, you're supposed to look out for him, not compete." I was ready to break up. But the next day, she made me food, put on a fireworks show, and even brought out a new brooch, apologizing. "Come on, it was my bad this time, don't be mad. Okay?" Though her tone was still casual, I let it go, convincing myself we were on equal footing. After a long pause, she said, "He just tried it on once. I thought it suited you, didn't think you'd mind. If you don't like it, I'll buy you something else, more expensive than Bob's, promise. Let's not fight, this engagement has to go smoothly." I smiled, thinking it wouldn't, not this time. Amy and I had been engaged twice. The first time, Bob smashed the cake in my face, then angrily told Amy he was just trying to liven things up. Amy looked at me with a cold stare and said I couldn't take a joke, leaving me with cream all over my head as she walked off with Bob. The second time, Bob messed up my suit and pretended it was an accident. Amy comforted him carefully. When she saw my blank face, her expression changed. She said, "Besides my parents, my brother is the most important person to me. I can't marry someone who doesn't treat my brother well. To be my husband, you must learn how to be a good brother-in-law." I pulled my thoughts back and looked at Amy in front of me. "Let's talk later." Amy raised her eyebrows but tried hard to suppress her impatience. She took a deep breath. "Tom, I know you're still upset about the ring." She came over and put her arm around my shoulder. "How about this? Let's go to that store now and get a new one custom made. Don't worry, I won't let Bob mess with it this time." I shook my head, "No need." Amy stared at me, "You don't have to be like this. Don't be sulking over the ring until our wedding and then keep bringing it up for decades. We won't get married, Amy." "Oh, come on, I know you. You're the best at being mad quietly and saying nothing." She grabbed my hand. "Let's go. I'll take you to get a new ring." I was about to refuse when she smirked and said, "Do you want me to call someone to carry you down like royalty?" I frowned but let her pull me downstairs. At her car, I habitually opened the rear door. Her exasperated voice came, Tom, a little drama is fun, but too much isn't cute. I looked at her, not quite getting her meaning. She sighed. Last time, I just meant I hoped you'd give Bob a break. Not that you're beneath him. Really? But last time, when I wouldn't sit in the back seat, you said, remember, Bob always outranks you. If he wants the front, you take the back or grab a cab. I didn't want to argue, so I sat in the front, only to find a pair of socks by the seatbelt. Amy laughed it off. Bob's shoes got wet in the rain last time. He changed in my car. You don't mind, right? Too tired to argue, I just nodded. She gripped the wheel tighter and started the car. Let's go buy a ring for my husband. At the store, Amy asked the clerk to remake the ring. I interrupted, wait a sec. She turned to me, her face calm, but I knew she was nearly angry. I feigned ignorance. I want something different for the ring. Let me handle it. I saw the mocking understanding in her eyes. She nodded, I'll wait outside then. I knew she'd react this way. Besides Bob, she wouldn't shop with any other guy, not even her boyfriend. She always said, whatever you choose is fine. She knows I love her, so no matter how she treats me, a slight kindness will keep me around. The mockery in her eyes showed she thought I was still obsessed with the ring. The clerk asked about my new ring requirements. Estimating the size in my head, I said, change the size. The clerk hesitated. But the original one fit your ring finger perfectly? I smiled, make it bigger. When I finished, Amy was on a call. Don't worry, I'll be right there. When she saw me, she started, Bob needs me. I cut in, it's late and pretty cold now. She tried again, Bob really, I interrupted again, go ahead. She wanted confirmation, you're not mad, right? I raised my voice, just go already. She looked at me with a complex expression. I'll be home after I sort things out. Absent-mindedly tapping my phone, I muttered, yeah, got it. I didn't tell Amy about the rideshare incident last week where a driver attacked someone. It wouldn't matter. She'd just say, that's a rare event. Stop being paranoid. If you're scared of everything, just never leave the house. When I got home, I showered, then ordered takeout and checked my phone while waiting. As expected, Bob had posted, you're always there when I need you. When I was nearly done eating, Amy came back. She frowned at first. You cooking spicy food? Then she looked surprised at what I was eating. You ordered takeout? While taking off her coat, she said, can you make me some noodles? And try not to eat spicy stuff at home, I don't like the smell. I handed her a takeout menu. You can order if you need anything. I looked up at her and added, you might not like spicy, but I do. Her expression darkened as she tossed her clothes aside. Unhappy. Bob has an emergency. If something happened to him, I couldn't face his parents, so I had to rush over to help him. I finished my soup and started to clear the table. Once done, I was heading to my study when she blocked my way. Let's talk, she said, clearly irritated. I know you're mad I left you alone there, but it was a real emergency, and it wasn't exactly a remote place. You could get a ride. What were you afraid of? Speaking of which, who's that woman who brought you back? The neighbors saw you laughing and chatting with her. I rolled my eyes. It's my brother. She snapped. Are you even trying to lie to me? Is your brother a woman now? It's my brother's assistant. He came back with an emergency 2 weeks ago. She was momentarily speechless. You never told me that. I did, but you were on a call with Bob, so you didn't hear me. Her tone softened. That's my bad. But you could have just ordered a ride, no need to call your brother. He's got his stuff to deal with too. If you tell him, he might think we aren't doing well. Does Amy think our relationship is great now? Last week, a rideshare driver killed a passenger in this area. It's only normal to be cautious, right? She opened her mouth but then changed the topic. Don't be mad. Bob knew I was with you to shop for a ring today. He was so worried, he urged me to come back and apologize. It's funny how after Amy told him about shopping for a ring, a stranger was knocking on his door. What a coincidence. I know, I replied, but I've got stuff to do right now. Suit yourself. After finishing my work in the study, I went back to the bedroom. The moment I lay down, Amy hugged me tightly. I'm tired and need rest, I said wearily. Her body tensed up, but she quickly held me even tighter. When her lips touched my cheek, a wave of intense aversion hit me. I pushed her away abruptly. She turned on the bedside lamp, her face showing shock. Moments later, she was furious, yelling, "Tom, seriously? It's just a small thing. You used to be all over me." "I'm genuinely exhausted," I interrupted. "Can you stop being unreasonable?" Her face grew pale, likely not expecting me to use a line she often said to me. It used to be me clinging on to her while she'd always look tired, telling me not to be unreasonable, leaving me crying as she slept soundly through the night. Amy rubbed her forehead, her mouth opening and closing before finally saying, "I'm asking you, Tom, please stop being mad?" I just looked at her coldly. "You think me needing rest is being mad?" Suddenly, she laughed. "All right then, make sure you get some rest. Okay?" With that, she got up with exaggerated movements, got dressed, and slammed the door on her way out. I turned off the bedside lamp and went to sleep peacefully. Amy was now giving me the silent treatment. For 10 whole days, she didn't say a word to me, not even a single text or phone call. Under the same roof, it was like she didn't even see me. This time, I didn't cry or fret or bother calling her friends about her. I was busy with my own stuff and couldn't be bothered. Plus, she seemed pretty happy during those 10 days. She used to barely post anything in a month, but now she's posting 7 or 8 updates each day, hanging out with Bob at the beach, stargazing, catching movies. Every date ended with a candlelit dinner. More days passed, and my brother invited me out for lunch to discuss something from before. I took a bathroom break during lunch, and on my way back, I bumped into Amy's friend Lisa. "Tom?" She rushed over. "I knew you'd never miss Amy's birthday." I was taken aback. "Amy's birthday?" Lisa grinned. "Oh, Tom, stop pretending. I know you want to make up with Amy but just don't want to admit it. Come on." "Wait, no, I'm not here for that." I tried to resist, but Lisa wasn't listening and dragged me to their private room. "Tom's here, just got lost for a bit." Haha. The moment she saw me, Amy's face relaxed for a split second. Then she casually said, "Find a seat yourself." Bob was there too, and he smiled at me, saying I was just telling Amy. No way would Tom keep us cold for so long. "Come on, let me toast to Tom first as an apology for being a third wheel before." Amy's friends chimed in. "Tom isn't that petty. Right, Amy?" I chuckled, "Sorry, but I've got plans in another room. Not really a good time for drinks. You don't have to apologize. I'm over all that stuff now." Amy's face darkened suddenly. "Aren't you here for my birthday party?" The room went quiet. Lisa, who was about to hand me the cake-cutting knife, stopped mid-step. I sincerely replied, "Sorry, I actually forgot it was your birthday today. I'm here meeting my brother." "You forgot?" she exclaimed. "I messaged you about it." I checked my phone. Must have missed it. Been busy. Bob snorted. "Come on, Tom. No way you don't have Amy's chat pinned." Amy relaxed, smiled, and came closer to me. "Didn't see the message? It must be unread." She noticed her chat was way down my list and unread. Her face turned pale. My brother was waiting on me, so I stood up to leave, but Amy grabbed my hand. "Tom, it's my birthday today," she said, her voice shaky. I said, "I know." "Well, happy birthday." Amy's eyes were red, but she didn't let go. "Let's cut the cake together. Just have a slice before you go?" Then my brother's voice came from outside. "Tom, you in there?" I quickly answered, "I'm here." I pulled away from Amy, heading for the door. Bob looked a bit annoyed. "Tom, can you at least have a piece of cake before leaving? It's Amy's birthday." I smiled at Amy. "But didn't you say you can get cake anywhere? No need to fight over one slice for your birthday." Amy's lips started trembling. Moments like this bring back memories. Like Amy's first birthday after we started dating. I planned for ages, ordered a cake, even took the day off. But the day before, she told me she always celebrates with her friends. I wasn't thrilled, but figured her friendships were special. So I joined her birthday gathering. Turns out, she said her birthday is only for that group, no outsiders. I stared at her. "But I'm your boyfriend. How am I an outsider?" Amy dismissed it. "You're not an outsider to me, but they don't know you. Am I supposed to let everyone feel awkward because of one person? I'm leaving now. Be good. And I'll bring you some cake. That night, she came back late and asked me to make her a hangover soup. I asked about the cake. She snapped, I meant to bring it, but Bob's piece fell, so I gave him yours. You ordered a cake too, right? Just have that one. It's still my birthday cake. I didn't make the soup but did make a big fuss. I cried, you know what matters to me, why couldn't you just share the cake? All I wanted was to feel involved in her birthday. But she coldly replied, are you done yet? You can buy cake anywhere. No need to snatch Bob's birthday cake. She wouldn't reassure me, just turned it into a joke among her friends. I became her friend's punchline. Bob shrugged. Tom, you're being too sensitive. Amy, with her head down, said, enough, Bob. My brother called me again, so I answered and left promptly. I was really interested in what my brother had to say, and we chatted eagerly. Time flew by, and he invited me to his place to continue. I gladly accepted. On the way, I noticed a bunch of missed calls and messages. When do you guys finish? I wrapped up early. I'll give you a ride later. I'm sorry, Tom. Bob's car had issues, had to help him. Head back yourself, I'll bring you a snack. It's cold, stay warm. I switched off the screen indifferently. I'm outside now, not at home. She told me to keep warm, but how am I supposed to do that? Probably means I should find a clothing store and buy a leather coat, right? Heading back to my brother's place to discuss some details with him. At the end of our conversation, he asks me, that's about it. When can you move? Is everything okay with your girlfriend? I shook my head, we're about to break up. He didn't press further, just patted my shoulder. After getting ready for bed, Amy called. Tom, where are you? At my cousin's house. Why didn't you tell me you're not coming home? Sorry, didn't expect you to be home. There's a pause. Then she sounds a bit annoyed. Tom, calm down. Don't always talk with an edge. Okay? You should calm down. I'm just drawing conclusions based on past experience. What's edgy about that? In the past, 8 out of 10 times she stayed overnight when she visited Bob. I thought the last time was an exception. Her voice softened. Will you come back tomorrow? I can pick you up. Yeah, probably. You don't need to bother. I can call a cab. After all, I need to pack my remaining stuff. It's late. I'm hanging up now. You should get some rest too. For the first time, I hung up the phone first. The next day, when I got home, I found Amy sitting motionless on the couch, like a statue. She looked up when she heard me, then stood up and grabbed my hand. I got a call. The store said the ring's ready. Have breakfast first, then we'll go pick it up. She led me to the dining table, which was filled with breakfast. Even though I planned to break up, I couldn't help but be amazed. She used to only cook for Bob. If I argued with her, I'd just get a cold stare. Don't you have hands or a phone? Either cook yourself or order takeout. Why do I have to do it? Bob was her brother and had a weak stomach. Can you compare to him? Surprisingly, I got to eat her breakfast now. No need to starve myself, so I sat down and started eating. Seeing me eat, she seemed relieved and cautiously suggested, I checked, the 3rd of next month is a good day. How about we get the registration done first? Makes the wedding more legitimate. The wedding date was already set. I once mentioned getting registered first, but she dismissed it with, I told you I'm super busy lately. Isn't it usually wedding first, then registration? Or are you worried I'll run off? I didn't respond, just calmly said after breakfast, let's get the ring. All the way to the store, she wanted to talk several times, but I interrupted her, saying I needed to focus on driving. At the jewelry store, as soon as we stepped in, a familiar voice shouted, Amy, I've been waiting for you. A figure threw itself into her arms. It was the first time Amy looked scared facing Bob. Bob, what are you doing here? I wanted to give it a once-over for you, but they said they couldn't show the ring without you two here. I smiled and told the staff, let's have it out. They handed over the ring box, but Bob snatched it. Mind if I take a look first? He opened the box, took out the ring just like the last one. Why reorder it? He glanced at me, smirking. You ordering a new one? 'Cause I wore it last time and you're bothered? I smiled at him, agreeing. He didn't expect me to respond that way. Embarrassed, he stomped and turned to Amy. Amy, he's bullying me. But Amy wasn't upset with me. She snapped, "Bob, put the ring back and hand it to your brother-in-law." Bob had never been treated so harshly by Amy. His face fell, and out of spite, he slipped the ring onto his left ring finger and it slid right to the base. Amy's face was beyond words. She glared at me, demanding, "What's going on?" I laughed. "What do you mean?" She exploded. "You know what I mean. How come your new ring fits Bob?" I chuckled. I adjusted the size deliberately. My eye for sizing from just photos isn't too shabby. "Huh?" Amy turned pale, trembling. She stammered, "It's okay, you're joking, Tom. It's fine. We can reorder the ring, rush shipping on me." I sighed. "Why bother, Amy? Your heart's not with me. Acknowledge your feelings for Bob and be happy with him." Bob had quietly slipped off the ring during this. He wasn't challenging now, just staring at me with resentment. He was awful, but not completely dumb. He knew today's scene would ruin his chances with Amy, no matter how things went with me. Amy turned to him furiously and yanked the ring away. "Who said you could wear it? At a certain age, shouldn't you know what's appropriate for certain occasions?" Bob had never been treated badly by her. Tears welled up instantly. I felt a bit sorry for him. Why scold him? "Didn't you say your brother's next to your parents in importance?" Amy stumbled towards me, eyes red. "Tom, I'm sorry. Please forgive me one last time. Okay?" Recalling something, she forced a smile. I looked. "Those never sent invites. They're not out, right? You were joking earlier, weren't you?" I looked at her with pity. "I didn't send them. Just tossed them." Her eyes dimmed. Tears matched Bob's. "Tom, I swear, I won't air like this again. Let's marry. I won't let Bob near our wedding, won't annoy you." I sighed lightly. "But I'm leaving." She blinked. "Where to?" "My brother invited me to be a director at his overseas company." I accepted. Amy was lost. "How long?" I said evenly. "Being here alone, I might stay overseas long and maybe even move." She held on. "Then wait for me. When I wrap up here, I'll find you." Bob screamed. "Amy, what are you saying?" I shook my head. "No need, Amy. My flight's soon. Took my stuff, left what you gifted. Nothing should be missing when you check." I wished her well in future relationships. "Don't treat them like you did me." Amy wouldn't let go, pleading, "Don't go, Tom, don't." Looking in her desperate eyes, I pulled away. "Goodbye, Amy." I turned without looking back. "Tom." "Amy, don't cry. Get off me." My brother and I spent the last 2 days in the presidential suite he booked. During this, Amy and Bob bombarded me with messages. Begging forgiveness or cursing, I stole her man. And advice from Amy's friends to reconcile. I blocked them all. Thanks to my brother's diligent arrangements, I left the country smoothly. No dramatic airport confrontations with an ex. I buried myself in work abroad. 3 years later, a mutual acquaintance of mine and Amy's was on a business trip here. She had helped me before and didn't meddle back then. We had dinner. She shared about Amy. Afterwards, Amy spiraled, turned to alcohol. Bob, during one drunk night, took advantage. Amy denied it later, wanting to cut ties with Bob. But Amy got pregnant. Their parents demanded Bob take responsibility. She insisted on an abortion, causing a parental feud. But behind the scenes, she exposed Bob's messy life. Parents backed off. Amy's career and Bob's reputation wrecked. In the end, they married, but it's obvious what lies ahead. Our friend sighed. "Good you pulled back when you did." I smiled. "I think the same." Outside, sunshine blanketed everything. The sky impeccably blue. I've embraced new beginnings. The future holds endless possibilities.